Welcome to the live. Alex Auto here. Welcome to the Alex Auto YouTube channel. I hope people make money in the car rental industry. On this live specifically, we're going to talk about the six-figure side hustle, right? That is car rentals that can bring in 100K a month, 100K a year, 100K a month is possible as well. But specifically, we'll talk about 100K a year. And on this live, we're gonna break down the ideas behind what a side hustle is, and I'll go through and debunk some myths as well. So without any delay, we're gonna get right into the video. So let's talk about what a side hustle is. What is a side hustle, right? So a side hustle, right? Google defines it as a job or a business, right, of some sort that brings in extra income along with your primary employment. So if you're someone that has a job, right, your main job, your main income source, you start something else on the side to bring in additional money. That is what is defined as a side hustle. Okay. Now, a lot of people look at side hustles as something that they can do temporarily, right? Or something that they can do in their free time, something that they can do when they have free time. And in this live, I'll break down why exactly this isn't the best frame of mind or mentality to have. Okay, so let's talk about the side hustle mentality. So when you're talking about a side hustle specifically, people think about it like a hobby, right? Maybe something that they like doing that can make them extra money, right? So that hobby mindset along with just the extra money mindset is what a lot of people think of what a side hustle actually is. And then there's no systems around the side hustle, right? I just get up. Maybe I have a couple hours here. I'll just go do it. So this overall mentality, this overall mindset of what people define as a side hustle actually isn't a good thing when it comes to trying to do something like a car rental business, right? Because this doesn't qualify as a side hustle, and I'll show you exactly why. So what are some typical side hustles, right? So some typical side hustles will include things like driving for Uber Lyft, right? You can do that in your free time. Maybe starting a e-commerce business, maybe starting a personal brand, right? Maybe starting some type of online business. A lot of people talk about things like surveys. A lot of people talk about things like, just an online business in general, right? So that is what will qualify as like a typical side hustle. But the problem is that most side hustles don't break more than $1,000 a month. And for a lot of people, maybe $1,000 a month is a lot of money. But the reason why most side hustles don't break $1,000 a month is because of the mentality and the frame that a lot of people go into when they're starting side hustles, right? They're thinking about it like, this is just something I can do in my free time. This is just something I can do when I have extra time, right? This is something I can do when I have downtime. And the problem with that is that if you're trying to do something like car rentals, right, even though it can be passive, it's not really just something that you can do in your free time. And on top of that, car rentals in general, right, one car will break $1,000 a month easily in revenue. Okay, so it technically won't qualify as a side hustle because just one car, renting out one car privately, we're talking about private rentals here, will break that 1K a month. Now, if you're using Turo, if you're doing Turo, that's going to technically be a side hustle, right? Because you don't do anything else other than list a car on Turo. So there is no extra work. You can do it in your free time, in your limited time, and you'll make less than $1,000 a month. So the amount of time you spend, the amount of energy you put into your side hustle is direct correlation with how much money that you're going to make out of that. Okay. So why car rentals is not just a side hustle? All right. Because like I said, the first thing is all you need is one car to make $1,500, $1,600, $1,800 a month. All right. So depending on where you are, you just need one car and you're basically not doing a side hustle. Okay. On the private side, you're going to have to set up systems, right? So systems will break that side hustle mindset because you need to be able to create a way for things to run, right? Even without all your extra time, but initially creating it will take time away, and that would make it less of a side hustle. And on top of that, there are contracts, insurance, agreements, dealing with customers, right? Things like that. Take it away from a side hustle, and I really want the mentality around this business, around doing private rentals, to go away from seeing it as just a side hustle and looking at it like I'm building a business for the long term. Because the truth is, this industry is a long term industry. It doesn't matter. Hertz and Enterprise have been around since 1930s, 1940s. Okay, so that shows that there's longevity here, right? It's not like an online business that has that just started popping off like 20, 30 years ago. Okay, like the internet is basically brand new. The internet is barely 30 years old, right? This industry has been around since the 40s, since the 30s. Okay, and that's just the reality of it. I'll get to questions at the end. I do see your question there, appliance repair. I'll get to the questions at the end. Okay. So let's talk about the industry size. Okay, so the car rental industry is $168 billion industry. Okay, so this is a massive industry. The transportation industry is a massive industry. There is more than enough money in this industry to go around. Okay, so there's not going to be any saturation. A lot of people get worried about saturation. Oh, is there too many car rental companies around me? Think about it like this: when you go to an airport, how many car rental companies do you see at one airport? You see Enterprise, you see Hertz, you see Dollar, you see Avis, you see like 5, 6 of them. If it was saturated, you wouldn't see all those companies. Okay, and more companies open every single day. All right, there's a reason why this industry is endless. It's a necessity. It's recession proof. Okay, so I'll give you an example. When COVID hit back in 2020, they shut down our airports. People can't travel. But guess what? They allowed essential workers. They allowed people to be driving for do food delivery, right? DoorDash drivers were still driving, making money, right? I know because I was doing that at that time, right? That was how I was making extra money. Okay. People could still go to work, right? People that work at Home Depot, things like that, could still go to work. People that worked at McDonald's, right? Food places. Why? Because this is essential to run a society. Um, so this industry in itself is so massive, it's so lucrative, and it's been around for so long that you can almost guarantee and bet that it's gonna be around 30, 40 years from now. Okay. So that's why we don't want to treat it like a side hustle. All right. Now let's talk about how much money you can make with one car. Dami, I do see your question there. I'll get to that at the end. Appreciate the questions. You guys can just go ahead and drop your questions. I'll hit them right at the end, and then we'll go through it. Cool. So how much can one economy car make? Okay. I think I've showed you guys on the last live last week Sunday that one economy car can bring in $1,400 to $1,800 a month, depending on your location and how much you want to charge. Okay. And like I said, most side hustles don't break 1K a month. Okay. If you do this on the private side, you will break 1K a month with your first car easily. Okay. You buy that car cash, $4,000, you will break 1K a month easily. Like it will feel so easy that it will feel illegal. All right. And the thing with this industry is there's so much demand, right? There's so much demand. It's an essential work. People need cars. People will always have a need for cars. Simple as that. Cars are not going anywhere. In fact, I would even argue that there will be an evolution of cars. Okay. So even if we go electric, people are thinking we're going to go electric. I don't think we're going to go electric. There isn't the infrastructure isn't there to go electric. Okay. We have the infrastructure for gas nationwide and worldwide. It will take maybe another 100 years, 150 years to go fully electric, right? And then you can simply adapt. People will still need cars if it goes electric. All right. So that one economy car can easily just break from that side hustle into a real business. Okay. Another reason why it doesn't count as a side hustle is because cars are actually assets. All right. If you run the play this way, the cars become assets. A lot of people get confused between what a liability is and what an asset is. And I see this all the time. I posted a video on TikTok the other day about how, people in my community have 10 plus cars, right? And the comments were saying, oh, who wants 10 plus cars, right? Who wants all those liabilities? Because people don't understand, right? They're just regurgitating what they've been taught, that cars are liabilities, cars are liabilities, cars are liabilities. Do you know what is a liability? Taking a 30-year mortgage and living in your house, and the house is costing you $2,000 a month. That's a liability. Okay. The cars that we are using are assets. They're putting money in our pocket every single month. They're bringing in customers. We're building a real business. we're doing it on the private side. So we have data, we have systems, and we can sell the business later. So we have a whole bunch. We have data assets, we have physical assets with the cars, right? We have assets with our systems, right? So this business is an asset that if you wanted to later down the line, you can sell it later down the line. Okay. Now, real business processes are going to be created while you start this business. Okay. Especially if you build it to the 6-figure mark, right? You're going to need contracts, you're going to need insurance, and then you're going to need systems. Okay. And I'm going to break down what some of these are going to look like. And it's very important that you understand that if you want to take it there, right? Some people may be fine with just 2-3 cars and make an extra 3 to 4K a month, 3 to 5K a month. Some people may be cool with that. That's awesome. But if you want to take it to 10K a month, you're going to have to build systems, because it's going to get very difficult after car number 5, car number 6, to just do it on your own, right? Without any systems. Okay. Now, so what we just recapped about the mindset behind thinking about this like a side hustle versus thinking about building this like an actual business. Okay. That this is the most important thing here is you have to look at it like a real business. That way you create the systems, you understand the contract, you understand what it's going to require of you, right? And not just be looking for like some Toro side hustle, right? You want to know what's required of you so that you can actually do it. All right. Boom. Now let's talk about building systems. Okay. Now this is some business systems that is going to be required to run this car rentals. We're going to start out number 1, marketing. So none of this matters without marketing. Okay. None of this matters without marketing. And I do see your questions in the chat. You guys can go ahead and keep dropping the questions. I'll get to them. I'll get to all the questions at the end just for the sake of the presentation. Nothing matters without marketing. Okay. Marketing, it should be the first thing you do. It doesn't matter how nice your cars are. It doesn't matter how good your social media is. If you can't get customers in the door, nothing matters. Okay. That's why I want you guys to think about it like, okay, the most important first step is I need to get customers in the door. Okay. And I'll give you a little trick that you can use. Even if you have 0 cars and you want to decide, you want to say, hey, you want to decide which car to buy, you could just find pictures of a few economy cars, list them all on Facebook, okay, and then see what people respond to. Once you know that people are going to be interested in this type of car, you can go buy that car, okay? So your marketing is very important, all right? You need to get customers in the door, and then you need to capture them, okay? So capturing the data is part of marketing. So you need to have some kind of form or some kind of website, landing page, something where they can go and sign up, put their name, email, phone number, so you can reach back out to them, okay? Very important. I probably get like 90% of our customers from our wait list. Our wait list is probably now like something like 200 people are signed up. So each time a new car comes back, a couple of cars come back, we just reach out to that list of 200 people, and somebody always gonna bite. Some people are in rentals, they want to switch out. People have had bad experiences renting directly from Uber or Lyft or whatever. People rent from Enterprise have had bad experiences. They're limited in their mileage. So you just got to know where the advantage is for you as a business, and then use that to put customers in the door. The second thing in your business system will be your risk management. Okay, you need to vet your clients. All right, your clients are the ones that pay you. They're the ones that pay you money. So you need to make sure you can see what type of person your client, the person who's interested in your rental, is going to be. Are they a criminal? Okay, do you trust a criminal, someone that doesn't respect authority, to follow your rules, just to pay you money, right? Do you think that that's going to happen? It's probably not going to happen. Okay, is this person going to have what's the reason why this person is using the car? Are they using it for work, for rideshare? Are they traveling, right? For me, we don't do the daily rentals, because we don't want the cars to be going in and out, having to clean and wash. That's too much time investment for us. So what we do is we rent to people that want to keep the cars for at least a month, okay, at least 30 days, okay. I think, and usually they keep it for 30 days. They're gonna keep it for longer. Our average rental is somewhere like 6 to 8 weeks, okay. So that's 2.5 months that's 1.5 months to 2 months. Okay, that's on average, and that's good. So I know that the car goes to one person, I'm not going to see the car for a couple months. I've had cars that have been out for a year. Okay, so It's all about this part of it is all about how you want to specifically tailor it. And the way you're gonna tailor it is gonna fit your lifestyle, is gonna fit your need, and it's gonna fit, maybe the type of vehicles that you want to purchase. Okay, so the risk management portion is the most important part. All right. I do see the questions in the chat. I'll get to that at the end just for the sake of this presentation. Okay. I'll get to the questions for sure. So keep dropping them. Now insurance. I misspelled insurance there. Now insurance. Insurance is how you protect your business. Okay. I used to work at State Farm. So I can break the insurance game for you guys and go into depth. There's many insurance strategies. It's not a one size fit all. Okay. So get it out of your head. You need to figure out which one that you want to go with. And there's probably about 3 to 4 different insurance strategies that you can use. Okay. You can use third-party insurance, Bonza, Alliance, rental cover. Okay. If you're using third-party insurance, you need to make sure that you're reading their terms and conditions, you're reading their exclusions, and you understand what's required to get paid on a claim. That's your responsibility. Okay. Like I said, you're the business owner. That's your responsibility to figure out how am I going to get paid when something happens to the car. Okay. You can use another insurance strategy where you use the customer's insurance. Okay, there's a couple of ways you can use customer's insurance. Okay, you can either A, make sure that they have their own insurance on their own car, full coverage that extends to rental cars. Okay, or B, you can get them an insurance policy using their information, but they have to agree to that. If they don't agree to that, you can't do that. That's illegal. Okay, so like I said, which strategy do you want to use? Okay, and you can actually self-insure. All right. Now, this is a whole nother game. You can self-insure if you want to, if you're comfortable with that. Okay. I wouldn't recommend self-insuring until you have like at least 10 cars, because if you're using one car and you self-insure and you can't cover that car, you're out of the game. Okay. So the strategy is not a one size fit all. You have to figure out which way you want to do. Okay. And then operations. Operations is how you protect your time. Okay. That's where you comes into hiring. It comes into your rental software, your automations, your system. This is your system from taking a customer from interest to sale. That's all in your operation. Your systems for oil changes and maintenance. Your system for training and SOPs. Okay, so these 4 will get you to where you want to get to, right? If we're talking about the 100K a year mark in the business, and then the 5 is the leverage. Now, leverage is probably one of my favorite topics because leverage is infinite. Okay, you can leverage capital, you can leverage people's time, you can leverage relationships, you can leverage communities. Okay, so leverage is unlimited. All right, there's something like, I think 5,000 plus banks, right, across in each state in the United States, right? So you're talking about a whole bunch of banks that you can get money from if you know what you're doing. Teams, you can hire virtual assistants. I see a question in there about hiring. Okay, you can hire virtual assistants. Okay, that will work for $2-3 an hour. They'll work 8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. One of my VAs, he works 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and he wants more time. I pay him $3 an hour. Okay, so you have access to the globe, right, with virtual assistant, where your dollars go a lot further, right? Because the currency exchange, $1 is a lot of money for them, right? They're surviving off of that, right? Some are thriving off of that. I pay my team based on value. If they do a good job, we do extra. I pay them extra. Okay, if they make me more money, I'm paying them more money, right? So you need to understand how to do the leverage, right? Also to build as part of your business system. So let's do a quick recap. All right. So everything we talked about, we started with talking about the side hustle, right? Getting to 6 figures, right? Getting out of the side hustle mentality, making sure that you understand that if you want to get to 6 figures, you cannot treat it like a side hustle, right? If you just want to have a couple cars, cool. You can treat it like a side hustle, do it when you can. But you want to get to 6 figures, and you can very easily. Remember, 6 cars, right? 5 to 6 cars, depending on how much you're charging. That's all you need to make 100K a year with car rentals. Okay, so very important. Now, once you figure out this is what I want to do, you have to get out of the side hustle mentality, and then you have to take it into a real business. That's where you need business systems. Okay, you need marketing, right? Insurance, right? You need operations. and then you need leverage. Okay, so that's the entire slide. Like I said, you guys can go ahead and join the Facebook community if you want to get serious about building up your car rental business, right? Taking it to the six figures, right? I got a big announcement coming up. I'm looking at maybe at the start of the month to announce, right? We're looking at building like an actual community. My goal here, right? I didn't expect to actually do this, right? I did some calls with people and they wanted that, right? My goal here isn't just about the money. I want to make sure I provide you guys with 10 times, right? And I promise you, I'm going to provide you with 10 times the value of whatever you pay, right? For what I'm going to announce. Trust me, I'm building it. I'm putting all my time and effort into that. And you're going to get 10 times the value, right? Of what you pay for. Guaranteed. If you don't, then I failed you, and I'll take responsibility for that. All right. So that's the presentation for today. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the questions because I know we got a few of them. Feel free to continue to drop your questions. I appreciate you guys being here. You guys are amazing, right? I'm doing this for y'all, so I love that. My guy, appliance repair says, can you automate the message like Toro? So if you're talking about sending customer text, you can. You need the right software. Okay. So for me, I use Go High Level, right? The reason why we use Go High Level is because we use it as a CRM platform, and Go High Level is really extensive with the automations, right? I just transitioned to that earlier this year because I wanted to do all the automations, right, with Go High Level. So I use Go High Level. You can automate messages, you can automate emails, texts, you can automate your opportunities process. So going from lead, right, interest all the way to sale, right? So you can, Go High Level is a software to use. It's $99 a month, something like that. Yeah, it's $99 a month, right? I use that. I love it. It's amazing. It's completely changed and made my life easier. Okay. Another way you can automate is by using virtual assistant. Okay. So that's another way you can automate. If you want, you can hire one part-time. If you don't want to pay them full-time, cool. Hire them part-time, make them work something like 2 to 4 hours a day. $3 an hour. You spend about $300 a month, right? So you gotta decide which way you want to go with it. But a good thing with using a virtual assistant is that you can automate other things too. Like you can automate having them set up oil changes with your renters. You can automate any extensions, anything like that, right? You can automate when people call in and have questions, right? I don't like answering the same questions over and over again, especially when it comes to car rentals. That's why I have a team that does that, right? And it saves a bunch of time that you can use and spend onto something else. But you have to decide at what point that's worth it to you to do it. Okay. So good question there. My guy Demi. Man, Demi's amazing. I met Demi. How you doing, bro? How you doing? Can you share your template for making insurance for rideshare? Yeah, man. I'll drop in the Facebook group for y'all. I'll drop in the Facebook group. It'll also be in the course. Everything will be in the course. Okay. So I have to because it's hard for me to know what you guys don't know because I've been doing it for so long. So I'll make sure everything is in there, and whatever isn't in there, you just tell me. I'll put it in there for you. Okay. But I'll definitely drop that in the Facebook group. So it will be in there latest by tomorrow. If not, just remind me, right? Just remind me in the Facebook group. You can at me, and I'll get a notification and I'll put it in there. Jennifer Hernandez. I think Jennifer has been here a little while too. What's going on, Jennifer? How can I hire virtual assistants? That's a fantastic question. So there's a website called onlinejobs.ph. Okay, onlinejobs.ph. This is real value I'm giving you right now. Onlinejobs.ph. You go to that website. You can hire a virtual assistant from the Philippines, and you can pay them $2 to $3 an hour. You have to create a listing, right? You have to go there as an employer, sign up as an employer, and then you have to create a post for a job. You put the price. Always be transparent with the price. That way, when people apply, they already know how much you're going to pay, and there's no confusion. Okay? Always be transparent about the price. You put how much you're going to pay them per hour, and then you put the responsibilities. Now, here is the part that is going to take a little bit of work from you, Jennifer. Hiring, you have to set whoever you're hiring up for success. Okay? You cannot expect them to understand what you understand about the business. So you will need to create an SOP, a standard operating procedure. So before you go and do that, what I would say is sit down. For me, it took a couple of days. I sat down and I wrote everything I do in the business into an SOP using Google Doc, completely free. Okay. Then I put everything in a folder. And then I went to go hire my first virtual assistant. I started them at part time, 4 hours, 4 hours a day. Okay. 5 days a week. And then what I did was that I gave them all the info, right? I trained them for one day because for me, the way I am, the only way I can learn is when I do it. So I assume people are like that, but people are not always like that. So I just started off doing what I know. So I trained them for one day, give them all the SOPs, and then I just monitored them closely to see how they interact with customers, how they do everything with the softwares and everything. And then I fixed whatever was wrong with either the SOP or what's wrong with what they were doing. Makes sense? So hiring is management. So you got to be able to manage that person. Once you do it the first time, it's super easy after that, right? Then you know exactly, okay, this is what I need to have in my SOPs, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you might have to give them scripts, right? It gets that crazy. You have to tell them what to say because they may not know. They may not know. And it's not because they're not smart or anything. It's just because they don't know how your business specifically runs. So this is a great question, but what I would say is start by creating standard operating procedures and then go hire someone. All right. So hopefully that helped you. If it did, let me know, Jennifer. Let me know in the comment. Dami says, how do you go around Travel Alliance as they do not sell to rental companies other than the big companies? They do. So there's a little hack you have to do. You have to um, sign up for travel insurance and not rental car insurance. Okay. And then when you sign up for travel insurance, not sign up, but you have to essentially try to buy travel insurance and then add rental car on the back end, if that makes sense. So, and this is actually better because travel insurance gives that person um, liability coverage and it gives them coverage for injury. So it gives your client coverage for injury also. So, but you have to purchase the travel insurance, not just the rental car insurance. Let me see if I can do a demo for you, just because I know it's going to be confusing. So I'll do that real quick so that you can take a look. And then maybe this might be helpful for everybody else here. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. One second. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Let me hide this. So what you're going to do is instead of going here to pick rental car, you're going to pick single trip. It's trip, not travel. And then you're going to pick the country. You're going to pick the date. So let's say they wanted to do for 1 week, Sunday to Sunday. You're going to put their age. For the sake of this, we'll put 35. Let's say Maryland, this is my state. Let's say you charge $500 for the week. You get a quote. It's going to run through blah, 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 blah. And then this is the back end way to do it. Now, the travel insurance is cheap. It's $46 for the week. You need to select this, right? And then just to go over what you guys, and one of the reasons why I don't like telling people about third-party insurance is because people don't want to read, okay? You need to actually go and read. So one of the things I would do, since we're here, is I need to go to the original page, but you can go to something like this, right? And then you need to find their terms of use. They usually have it somewhere here. I think maybe it's this coverage alerts. You need to find your terms of use. Let's see. No, it's not this. It's somewhere here. Dun dun dun. Our plans. Let's see if it's our plans. Or maybe it's claims. Yeah, I think it is claims. But let's see. Yeah, it's claims. Okay, so you go to claims, and you need to understand like what is required, right? So here they tell you top 3 things we need to process your claim. So you need to understand this first before you purchase it, right? And I know, you've probably read through it, but just for everybody else here, you need to do that, and then I can't find exactly what I'm looking for, but you need to find the terms of use, copy and paste that into Chat GPT, and then ask it scenario questions like, what would happen if I did this? Let's say your renter was driving for Uber Lyft. What would happen if my renter was driving for Uber Lyft and I told the person during the claims? If the commercial use is not included, which for most of these they're not, you're gonna get denied. So you cannot be mentioning anything like that. All right. So that's what you need to understand. But this is what's covered with the trip insurance, right? They get medical, emergency transportation, baggage. They get a whole bunch of benefits. They even get a 24-hour hotline. If you want, you can put this on, give this the number for this to them. Once you pay for it, you hit select, and then it will take you to another screen, right? And then you can add a rental car, right? One trip rental car protector is $88. You add it, and then now it should take you to the payment screen where you can pay for it. Total of 134 for the week. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's your way around it. Hopefully that answered your question. Let me know. Solo Dolo says, I heard Bonza insurance works only if rental car from, I said BIM, established rental company. No, that's not true at all. Bonza is the most car rental friendly. Okay, so Bonza works. I know for a fact Bonza works. I've used Bonza. Okay, I've never filed a claim with them, but I know it works. I know people that have personally, and Bonza works. You can even integrate Bonza into Fleet Finesse if you have Fleet Finesse. Okay, and I know they're working on integrating with more platforms. So Bonza definitely works. They're car rental friendly. They even allow you to allow whoever pays for the policy to put the email of the car rental company so that you get an email automatically. All right, like Enterprise. Yeah, no, so it's not true. I don't know where you heard that, but yeah, that's not true. My guy Appliance Repair says, also, can you make a video showing how do you vet your customers from Facebook to have only gig workers? Do you also rent to regular rentals? How do you verify their gig workers? Oh man, that's easy, man. That's we just asked them. We just asked them, on my SOP, one of the very first questions when someone says they're interested in a rental or they want a rental car, do you drive for rideshare? It's a yes or a no. If it's a no, okay, we don't disqualify them immediately. We say, okay, no problem. How long are you looking to rent the car? That's the next question because we want to see how long they want the car. If they say a few days, sorry, we only rent weekly. Okay. Most of the time they'll ask you for your weekly price. It's funny. People will ask you for that. You tell them and then they're not happy with the price. It's like, I rent weekly for a reason. Okay. Or if they are still renting for like a regular rental and they're going to keep the car for at least 30 days, they're like, oh, I need a car for at least a month. Okay. We'll do it, right? Our process is a little bit different for that, right? We're going to require like full coverage insurance, their own. We don't provide them with none. I don't do third party with those type of renters, right? The reason why is because of this. Those type of renters are higher risk than gig workers, at least from my experience, okay? Most gig workers have been driving for a long time. They're good drivers, especially if they have clean backgrounds and they've been doing it for a long time. Okay, the chances of them doing something crazy to your car is very small. My biggest problems have come from regular rentals. I've gotten total losses from regular rentals, right? I've gotten crazy scenarios from regular rentals. So I'm more reluctant and I put a higher barrier of entry for those. Okay. So hopefully that answered your question. Second part is, do you need renter's license? Renter's license. Yes. If you're talking about who's picking up your car, yes. You need their license and you need to verify their license. I'm pretty sure I've made a video on this. But join the Facebook group and then I'll give you a link to the video if you are not already in there. Again, make sure just make a post. You can tag me. I'll see it and I'll enter it for you. Beautiful Soul says, who is the target audience? That's a great question. I went over this on the live last Sunday. Your target audience is completely up to you. In the economy car space, there's three main. There's travelers and travel nurses. The reason why I tell y'all to go for travel nurses is because they're gonna keep your cars for a very long time. They usually are um, good drivers. They usually have full coverage insurance, um, and they're usually on assignment for a few months. So that's one target. You can decide whatever you want to go with. The second is the gig economy workers, right? People that drive for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Amazon Flex. There's a lot of medical courier services that pay a lot of money. There's people that drive for independent contractor work that pay a lot of money, right? Um, that's another target. Or you can do Uber Black. Uber Black, you're talking about Uber Black drivers, Lyft Black drivers, right? These typically are people that have higher qualification. A lot of them also do private chauffeur. Um, you're gonna need different type of cars. These type of cars are typically more expensive, but you'll make more money, right? You can charge uh $800 a week for these type of cars. Okay. The process for buying those cars are the same, but you'll be spending close to more than double what you spend on a regular economy car. So those are the three, but you'll be making you'll be making double what you would make with an economy car. So it makes it worth it. So those are the three main types I tell you guys to go for. Um, the reason why we don't do anything luxury is because the demand isn't there. It's very hard to be consistent, right? You can still pull it off, but you need a little bit more work to pull it off. And it also just makes sense to use cheap cars to pay for your expensive cars, and then figure if you want to go to the expensive car routes later down the line, at least get 6 economy cars, make 6 figures, have them pay for the nice cars, and then figure out how to build the nice cars, because that one takes longer. Okay, so let me know if that answered your question. Hopefully I answered your question there. Appliance repair, he's going crazy with the questions, man. He's going crazy. How do you keep them from driving out of town? Fantastic question. Fantastic question. I tell them up front, you cannot leave this area. I give them the area. If you leave this area, we will end the rental immediately. Now I give them a caveat, because sometimes people will try and sneak. If you need to leave this area for any reason, you need to notify us and we need to approve it. The reason why I say this is because I've had situations where somebody will try and leave the state when it's getting close to your due date. And they know that because they're going further away from you, it'll be harder for you to get the car. The way you stop this is with the kill switch. Okay, you need a kill switch in your car. As soon as you get a notification, they've left your geo zone, right? And you can set up geo zones with your kill switch. You can kill the car immediately. Maybe they might be an hour away, but it won't be further than that. And you can get your car back. Okay, you can repossess your car. All right. Do not rent out cars without a kill switch, even if you're doing Turo. All right. So let me know if that answered your question. Yep, there you go, Jennifer. Yeah, see, Jennifer has been here. Jennifer knows. Jennifer knows. For sure. Lux Import says great info. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What kind of car rentals do you do, brother? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I think this is the first time I'm seeing your name. So let me know what kind of car rentals you do. All right. Dammy says, what is the link on where to attach pre and post pictures? The link on where to attach pre and post pictures. So for pre and post pictures, what's this app that I use? I can't remember off the top of my head. My team does it now. Imager, that's the app. So you can download an app called Imager, okay? And on Imager, you can put all the pictures there for pre-pictures, and then create a link, send it to the customer, right? So just give you a little bit more insight. When somebody picks up our cars, we have a post-rental message. Also, all right, let me go back a little bit more. When somebody rents the car and they come in to pick up, I meet them at pickup. Okay, I know somebody asked, how do you automate, right? A lot of people are obsessed with automation. This isn't the best. Automating is not the best way to do, especially if you're running private rentals. Okay, I would rather you pay a family member a few dollars, right, to meet customers, just to go over rules with them. Have them wear something nice, look professional, and go over the rules with them so that they can link the car to a person. Because as soon as there's nobody there, you have more problems, right? More chances of them not trying to pay you, trying to take the car out, right? All that. But if you want to do the automation, another thing you could do is to just get on the phone with them or have your team be on the phone with them as they pick up the car. But for me, I will meet them at the pickup location. You tell them that you work for the company, whatever you want to tell them, right? You work for the company, look professional. There you can go over the rules with them, right? You can check their driver's license to make sure it matches the one they gave you, right? You People are more likely to open up to you in person. So I'll ask them things about their family just to get a little bit of an idea, right? Hey, will anybody else be driving this car? How many members do you have in your family, right? If anybody else will be driving this car, just feel free to send me their driver's license, and I'll add them to the rental agreement. This makes my life easier when I'm transparent, right? Be transparent. And then after they picked up the car and they leave, everything we talked about, it's in a message. We have a template for it, and we send them that along with the link to the pictures. And then once they drop off the car, you can do your post pictures in the same Imager app. Create a link, and you can send it to them as well. If you wanted to send it to them, if there's no problems, we don't send it to them. If there's no damage or anything, we don't send them the link. If there is damage, then you can be like, hey, we noticed this. We're gonna file a claim, right? You tell them, and then you go ahead and file the claim. So hopefully that answered your question, Demi. Jennifer Hernandez, damn right, 6 figures. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You already know. You gotta do 6 figures in this business easily. You gotta do it. I was making. I'll be honest with you guys. I work for GE Healthcare. Okay, I worked for GE Healthcare for a year. All right, this is like one of my favorite stories. I started GE Healthcare April of last year. All right, April of 2024. I quit GE Healthcare May of 2025. When I quit GE Healthcare, I was doing $7,000 to $8,000 a month. Okay, $7,000 to $8,000 a month. When I quit GE Healthcare, now I'm making almost double that. But when I quit GE Healthcare, I was making that. All right, so I was making double whatever they were paying me. So it was easy to walk away. Once you get cars in your fleet, is easy to walk away. Like it'll be whatever you want to do, you'll be able to do it. Okay, so I want everybody here to get to that point, and the course I'm creating, I will make sure you get to that point. Right, it's about transformation for me, getting everyone to that point. That way, you feel like you're getting real value out of it. All right, so it's more info to come. Already joined, yes sir. I'll see you there. What's the best renter's insurance? Ooh, if you're an auto dealer, man, that's a good question. So renter's insurance. So the insurance strategy will be the same whether you're an auto dealer or not. However, you have more options as an auto dealer. There's most okay. There's a fleet finance plan that's actually tailored for car rental auto dealers. Believe it or not, it's called AFC, autofinance.com. All right, so go check them out. Autofinance.com has a fleet financing program for car rental companies, for like private car rental companies. Okay, so autofinance.com will give you renter's insurance as part of your fleet financing program, and they bake it into your monthly payment for the car. So the monthly payment will include the car, and it will include the insurance that's covered, right? I think it's called Dealer Guard or something like that. Dealer Guard insurance. You can look it up. Okay, and I know this because I spoke with them for like 2 hours over the course of 1 week, right? And I was considering doing that just to go pick up a whole bunch of cars, but I decided not to do that later down the line because I didn't want to take on more debt, like more of that type of debt. Even though if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna like actually pick up cars through finance, that's one of the best ways to do it. But it didn't make sense for me at the time. Okay, so look up auto finance. So if you want to use the dealer financing play, you can use auto finance. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. Let me know. I looked into that too. Yes, sir. Okay, where do you get VA virtual assistant? I'm assuming you're asking. Yeah, onlinejobs.ph. That's where you get your virtual assistants. Like I said, make sure that if you guys are gonna hire, I don't want you to hire and just have high expectations. Okay, I was an employee before. I'm sure most people here have been employees before. You won't know how to do any job if they don't train you and give you the proper operating procedures for you to follow. Okay, so make sure you have that in place, and then onlinejobs.ph is where you go. Hey, what's up, Jennifer? What's going on? All right, appliance repair says, thanks. I got the contract from the group. Yes, sir. Yes, yes, thank you. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, so you guys doing a little dialogue in the chat. Um, so the name of the tracker is called Gold Star by Spirian. That's the one I use. I've done a demo on it on a live. I can't remember. I've done a few of these lives, so I can't remember. But if you go through the channel, you see it. When I talked about operations, I did a demo on that for all you to see. Um, his video is called. Yep, there it is. Talks more about it for sure. For sure. Okay, Mauricio Reyes. Wow, that's the first time I'm seeing that name. What's going on, bro? What's going on, bro? Welcome to the channel. What commercial insurance do you most recommend? We hold if we have 10 plus cars and want to start renting to only rideshare drivers. What full strategy do you recommend? And is the contract in your group? Yes, the contract is in my group. That's the first answer to your question. Commercial insurance. Now, it's gonna vary by state, but the three options I give my community that covers basically almost all 50 states. Start with GMI. See if GMI covers in your state. GMI is one of the best. I'm sure if, or I can't assume you know, going the commercial route. Remember, you can't file any claims, so you need an insurance strategy where you're not going to file any claims on your commercial insurance policy because they will drop you. It's as simple as that. They will drop you. Okay, so I want to make sure you understand that so that you're not set up to fail. Okay, understand that you can't file any claims, but commercial insurance is great because it's super cheap. You can put a whole bunch of cars on there, and it works perfect for compliance. So GMI is number one. Number two, you have ABI. Okay, ABI is number two. GMI and ABI. Okay, and number three, you have Romley. Now there is more. These are the three main ones I tell y'all to go for. Right, these are the three of the best. So look into those three, see which one is in your state. Do it in that order. Do it in that order, and then make sure that when you go for it, that you can get the best out of the three that you can get. All right. All right, cool. The only one you use, the one I use Romley. Romley's the one I use. Okay. Hopefully that helped answer your question. Lux Import says we mainly rent Acura, Integras, TLX at the moment. A few higher end Genesis, G70. We're a small dealer, so we rent them until they sell. Oh yeah, okay. So I see your strategy. So are you renting them to make your money back before you sell? Are you renting them to get into profit before you sell? Let me know. But that's a decent strategy. Those are higher end cars. And since you're a dealer, right? Since you're a dealer, you probably have the clientele for that. So if you have the clientele for that, go for it, bro. Go for it. Um, Dirt cheap appliance. Will all this be in your course? Of course, man. It's gonna be all this and more. Trust me. All right. The course, right? The goal of the course is to get you from 0 to 10K a month, or from wherever you are to 10K a month minimum. Okay, that's the entire goal of the course. Once you've gotten there, I've done my job, and I'll do what it takes, right, to make sure you get there. If you promise that you're gonna invest the time and you're gonna take the actions on the information I'm giving you, I'll make it real simple. I'll give it to you step by step. And then on top of that, I want to make sure that every single person in that community gets to a 700 credit score. And the importance of the 700 credit score, you will see it as you're going through the course. Okay. The 700 credit score will give you so many options. Okay. Whether you want to go get a building. Okay. Whether you want to go finance, do fleet financing and pick up 100 cars. Whether you want to go expand in other states, it's going to be very difficult to do that without credit. So the goal is to get you 10K a month and a 700 credit score. I'll give you all the information you need to do that, and that's the promise. Okay. Jennifer Hernandez says, "What do you think of Trackhawk?" Yeah, Trackhawk GPS is good too. Trackhawk GPS is good. They have the kill switch. So the only thing is they're gonna charge you monthly. You get a monthly service with Gold Star. It's 3-year service included with your kill switch, and if you buy more kill switches, it just extends for another 3 years. So you don't have to worry about a monthly. So that keeps overhead a little bit lower. All right. So make sure that you make sure you kind of put that into perspective, especially if you're going to be picking up quite a few cars, because that's going to add up over a long period of time. Which I'm sure you will, Jennifer. I know you will. Robert Reyes says, "Thank you, Alex. I have friended you on Facebook. I'm 20 in Chicago. Wow, you're 20, bro? That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, good work, man. Good work. Good hustle. 15 cars. I appreciate your guidance and your videos. GMI, ABI, Rumley. I'm currently stuck on Turo, man. It hurts, bro. I know how you feel, man. A lot of people get stuck on Turo. For me, I got away from Turo as quickly as I could. I realized very quickly I wasn't gonna make a lot of money. 15 cars is fantastic. With 15 cars, bro, you should be doing 20K a month, man. You should be doing 20K a month. And if you're not right now, don't worry. We'll make sure we get you there. All right. You should be doing 20K a month. All right. That's amazing, bro. That's amazing. You're 20 years old in Chicago, man. And Chicago is a fantastic market. I know a few of my guys are in Chicago. They're killing it. All right. So don't worry. We'll get you there. Make sure you join that community. And I'll see you on the inside, brother. If anybody has any other questions, wow, you guys dropped a lot of questions today. I love it. You guys, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to drop the questions. Yeah, that's the end of the live for me. So I'm just here for all your questions. Anything that you need, that's what I'm here for. So they say Toro is here on me trying to file claims, so I just switched to 9010 and to just deal with the accident myself. Yeah, bro, you should switch to private then. I'll show you how to do. Okay, so with private rentals, when you have things like accidents, right? Relationships are important. You can use body shop guys, right? I'm sure you have local body shop guys that will do the cars for you for cheap. Junkyards are a gem. All right, junkyards, you can replace the cars, and don't let no one tell you that talking about junk parts, because you're not replacing engines and transmissions. You're replacing like doors and quarter panels and things, door handles and things like that, right? Headlights. You can get them for as cheap as possible. All right, and then you can just handle it yourself. You keep all the money. So think about it. If you're splitting 90-10 with Toro, somebody pays $100 for a rental, you get 90. Toro gets $10. That extra $10 that Toro is getting, you just keep it, and then you can just put it into an insurance fund and then self-insure. Okay. And if you run your risk management correctly, almost nothing will happen, like 90% of the time. And if something does happen, it's usually something minor, like things that happen, like my customer will hit a deer, like things like that, like small stuff like that, right? And then that's an easy fix, right? You can get that done for a couple $100s, all right? And then you just keep going, like, and the strategy I show you to buy the cars, you're getting the cars for so cheap. You rent the cars out for 3 months, which is what, 12 weeks. You make 100% of your money back. So after that, why does it matter, right? It doesn't matter much. Once you make your money back, you just go do it again. Okay. Ollie Mac, man, I haven't seen you here for a little while. Ollie Mac, how you doing, bro? Can you do a walkthrough on how to sign rental contracts online by phone? A walkthrough. So that mostly comes through your rental software. I guess I can walk you through. Let's see. I'll walk you through Fleet Finesse real quick. It's kind of tough for me to like do like an actual one, but it mostly comes from your rental software. So let's see what I can do here. I'll do the walkthrough for you, brother. I'll do the walkthrough for you. All right, cool. So let's see. This is still loading up. I'm not the biggest fan of this. I'm not affiliated with this in any way, but this is what we use. We only really use this just for rental agreements, extensions, and things like that. That's all we use it for. Everything else with customer communication goes through Go High Level and or Open Phone. If I go through my reservations, let's see. Yeah, I'll create a dummy one. Okay, so I'll create a dummy one. So you do this. Let's say you do it for a week, right? You pick up location, and then I'll send it to myself. Which one's available? Let's say this one. Whatever, rent, next, confirm. Okay, so every system is going to be different, Ollie. But the premise is the same. So because you're using a rental software, it makes it easier. Okay, you can just hit send contract via SMS or via email. So I'll send it via email, and it sends to the email. Um, the system isn't perfect. Sometimes it comes into like spam, like here. So it sends right here. And then they're gonna hit view contract. So before you have your customers do this, make sure that you do it yourself. Like you walk through this yourself, and then they sign here, right? Whatever they hit sign, and then on the back end of the system, you just do a refresh. Yeah, this system is not the best. Um, I might just get one of my guys to just build one. He'll probably do it too. But yeah, once it's done, once you do that refresh, you can just view it when you hit view contract, right? It takes you to the contract, and then they sign here. We make like they have to sign the contract before they even get to us. They have to do the background check before they get to us because I'm not meeting anyone. Because you don't know who these people are. If they talk about, oh, you don't have a physical location, don't worry about that. Don't allow them to gaslight you. Don't allow them to talk you into anything you don't want to do. This is your business. You run it the way you want, right? Have it fit your lifestyle. Have it create you your lifestyle. Pay for the things you want. So that's the way. That's the walkthrough. Let me know if that helped. I just had 2 totals this month. Yeah, bro. So the thing with Toro is Toro customers, bro, they will total out your cars, man. Like that's why it's important to pick a niche, right? And that's why I gave those three. Those three are the best, right? You're gonna deal with less headaches. You're gonna deal with less problems. Like you're gonna have better quality customers. You're gonna have people that want your cars and stay in your cars for a long time. Like those daily rentals, those are the problem with car rentals. The daily rentals are the problem with car rentals. Okay, anybody can pay what $100, $150, take your car for 2 days and total it. That most cars are like 10 to 15K. Somebody can pay what $150 and total a $15,000 car. That's insane to me. Okay, so the daily rentals are the problem. So make the switch, pick your niche depending on the cars you have. Since you already have cars, if you have economy cars, if they're not financed, you could go that route. If they are financed, maybe they're a little more expensive. You want to go the travel nurse route, you can go that route. Okay. Um, so just make sure you pick the right niche that works for you, and you deal with less problems. Trust me. I'm down 5K on Turo deductibles just this month. That's one car. 5K is crazy, man. That's crazy. After they've taken all that money from you, don't let that happen, man. It's time to make the switch. Appliance repair says, do you have a date for the course? There's no date set in stone yet. I'm looking at what are we going into October? So I'm looking at November 1st. I have everything started. I'm building it. I'll definitely drop it in the Facebook community. Like I said, I'm looking at like a price of like $100 a month, right? My goal is to get you to 10K a month, so that's 10x the value. The first 25 people that get in there will do $50. So I'll start at $50. So you get in there, founding members special, $50 a month, right? So you get even more value, right? And I'll make sure that you have everything that you need. Any questions, I'll be in there. You guys can ask me, and we'll take it from there. So hopefully that helped answer that question. Solo Dolo said, why do you specifically use the tracker that you use? Oh, the reason why I use that Gold Star specifically is because they don't charge monthly. That's the main thing for me. They don't charge monthly. And right now we have something like 15, 16 cars. So we want to make sure that, if it's $100 a month each car, they're talking about $1,600 a month extra of overhead. No, I don't want that. So that's the main reason for me. Lux Imports, where can I find your private Facebook? How much is your course? Oh yeah, I just dropped the price for the course. Let me give you the link to the Facebook. I'll give you the link to the Facebook. Let's see. Group. I'll drop it in the chat. That way, everyone has access to it. Boom. Yeah. So let me know if you got that. Let me know if you send the request in. Appliance repair says everything for the background is all in the software. Correct. So you're gonna need a couple of pieces of software. You need something for background checks. You have things like Intellius and public data. And then for checking like licenses and things like that, you have Stripe. Stripe identity, right? And I'll go into detail on the course on like how to do all of that, how to use it properly, um, and then still making and doing it in a way where like they can't. It has to be live, right? They have to do live pictures and live videos or whatever, um, and things like that. So those are the three main ones off the top of my head. Um, that you need, and then obviously your tracking system is also another one, and then your car rental system is also another one. So five main ones. Um, some softwares promise to do all in one. I don't like all in one solutions because they can monopolize anything, and now you're reliant on them completely, and they can increase the price, and now you have nothing. Okay, you have nothing. So let me know if that helped answer your question. Jennifer Hernandez, yes, ma'am. Yeah, for sure. Keep scaling. Like never stop growing. By the time you realize it's a year later and you're making more money than you could have ever imagined. Or and one of the things, I'll be honest, you know, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'll keep you 100%. I started this business for the money. Okay, I think that's why we're all here. I started this business, the car rental business, for the money. But what surprised me was the impact you make on people. Because you don't understand, right? When people can't afford cars, they're in a very weird position in life, right? Whether it's because they can't finance, because they have bad credit, they don't have the cash to just pay cash, right? There's a market for everything. So you're solving a real problem. And people will tell you how much of a problem you're solving for them, and that's gonna make you realize like your like your service is like real impact. That's gonna change the way you look at your business, and it completely changed the way I look at my business. So that was a surprising thing for me. But yeah, that the real impact is kind of crazy. Appliance repair. Should I wait on the course before I start private? Um, yeah, if you wanted to wait, yeah, that's fine. You can start. So like I said, the first thing you could start right now is build the wait list while you wait. All right, let me take this off. Build the wait list. Start with the marketing. Watch my live. I'm also gonna drop a video later this week, and I'll show you step by step how to set up Facebook Marketplace marketing completely free. I'll show you step by step how to do your Google business profile completely free. I'll show you step by step how to set up your Instagram and how to post completely free. You can set all of those things up. And then I did a video on how to do a Google form. Okay. So if you don't have a website or a landing page, and I'll show you here, you can do a Google form. Okay. Let me see. Google form. All right. So you can do a Google form and you can create something like this completely free, right? All of this is free. I want you to get creative. You don't need money. You don't need money to make money. That's a lie. All right, all of this is completely free. So this is what I did when I started, right? I have something like 61 in here. We stopped using this. I have another system. I do it for my landing page through my website with like another 100 and something in there. So you can create something like this, right? And collect the data, right? I collect my data like this, and people will fill it out, right? So let's say you start your marketing, people are like, I'm interested, because that's what's gonna happen. And then you're like, shoot, I'm not sure if I'm not comfortable starting yet. Build this. Because what's gonna happen is as soon as you have everything and you're ready to go, you can just shoot the wait list and get your first private renter. And you did all the work already. Okay. So 100% do this in the meantime while you wait. All right. And in 30 days, you'll have at least 10 people that want to do business with you. Okay. Solo Dolo, have you ever made a claim through a third party insurance like rent cover bonds? How long was the process? Okay, I have. I made a claim through Sure App. This is my one of my the only okay. So this is my only claim through a third party insurance. Okay. This is actually what made me stop using them. So it took forever, bro. It took a long time. It took 9 months. It did not need to take 9 months. They played all the delayed tactics in the world. But I knew everything about Sure App. Actually, shortly after they paid me out, they sent me a check. They changed their process. So Sure App doesn't rent, like they definitely won't rent. It says it now in the exclusion that they don't rent to private car rental companies. You have to be getting the car from like a big company like Hertz or Enterprise. They won't do it now. It was a total loss. They did pay out. It took 9 months. So that's why I don't like them. But this is only one experience from Shore App. Okay. The other ones, Bonza, I've heard pays pretty quickly, and Alliance, I've definitely heard pays pretty quickly. Alliance is probably the most used one, I think. It was super popular, especially when I started around 2021. When I started this business, Alliance was heavily used. Um, so for sure, it takes a while. Um, if you have something that's happened and use a third party and it's minor, document everything, fix the car, put the car on the road, and then do the claims process. All right. So that's what I would advise. But that's a good question. It does take a while, and it's very dependent on the company. Even insurance companies, some of them take a while too. Sometimes it might take a couple of months for an insurance company claim. So I think it's just normal, but just don't expect it to be quick. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions? I think we hit the hour. I appreciate y'all for being here. I think this has been very informative. If you aren't already, make sure you join that Facebook community. I'll be dropping the announcement on the 1st of this month. I'll have everything ready, and then we can start building the community. The main thing for me too, I want to network with some of you guys, understand where you are, the different states. Right, it's super cool. I love it. I'm in a bunch of communities. There's real power in that. Right. When so in a regular life, right, in our everyday day-to-day life, and I experienced this heavy, right, especially like in the last 6 months. For some reason, we're swimming against the tide, right? We're going against what is taught. Like, we're taught to work a job 9 to 5 and retire on a 401k, retire on a social security. I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. Social security won't exist in like 20 to 30 years. It's gone. If you haven't already, do some basic research. Social security is gone. Okay, so most people who are relying on social security are gonna be very disappointed. That's one. Two, a job, you're capped on your income. Okay, you're capped on your income, and you're capped on your time. Even if you make $60 an hour, you can only work so many hours. But when you're talking about building a business that has assets that make you the money, there's no limit on how much money you can make, because there's no limits on how many of the assets you can buy. Okay, so that's number one. And because you're swimming against the tide, a lot of people are going to be discouraging. So being in communities where people have the same mindset and are doing the same things, this is going to be a game changer for you. Okay, so that, I promise you that's going to be a game changer. So yeah, it's been a game changer for me. That's why I want to do it too, so I can have my own community. I think it'll be super cool. So I think that's all the questions. Amen. Jennifer Hernandez. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's all the questions. I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I know I talk a lot. I'll see y'all next Sunday on the next live. And yeah, watch out for the announcement on the 1st. I'll drop the details, and I'll see you next time. Have a good weekend. Have a good Sunday, and have a good week. Let's kill it. Let's make some money. Let's go.